Wow, when I think of International Women's Day, it's an important day, and I'm happy that we've got this opportunity to really reflect and remember the important role that women play in society. For me, my biggest inspiration was my mother. I don't think I'd be where I am today without my mother. And so, as young people growing up around the world, we all must really remember the significance of the role our mothers play in giving us, I think the start in life, right? I think it's our moms that oftentimes are there holding our hands as we're learning to walk. We learn to cook for the very first time. Mine was through my mom. We get to appreciate the world through women, through the eyes of women. But as women, we have many hats that we wear. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a scientist. I'm someone who also is involved in the political space on different dimensions. So we as women have the ability to engage and to participate meaningfully in so many different ways. Let's not forget the roles of mentors in our communities. There are women out there who intentionally take time to reach back to share their experience. I always used to say as a young person, why walk 1,000 steps when I could actually walk or learn from the experiences of others. So I could walk a shorter journey, but having actually been exposed to other people's experiences. So let's remember that as women together, we have the capacity to do even more. We can shape, the future that we want if we have a voice within society, if we're able to contribute towards whatever is happening around us, whether it's shaping, the types of schools that we have in our communities, looking at, the opportunities that young people have as they grow up. International Women's Day is a chance for us to really celebrate each other, to lift each other up, to create a different outcome for all women across the world. My dream for women and for girls is really to see a very different lens when you think about women. Like, let's not always just think of women as the softer, weaker gender. Women have a lot that they bring to any environment, any situation. Women today are leading countries. Women today are leading companies. They're inventing things all across the world. So I think for us as women, what I want to see is recognition. I want women to be equally represented, particularly when it comes to policy making in government. I want to see women being given the ability to actually contribute in a meaningful way, not as an afterthought. So I want women to shine. I want to see women celebrated throughout Zimbabwe, throughout our communities, and across the globe. So as a woman, I'm really fascinated by our culture. Women are the ones who really, play a very important role in keeping that culture, in teaching the children, the next generation about culture. And so an facet of culture that I'm really interested in is our indigenous knowledge. And I've been shaping, a company, a viable enterprise, which is focused on actually developing products, private label products that can actually be sold and commercialized. But it's through knowledge that we are gathering from people across Zimbabwe and looking at ways to turn ideas into something that we can actually all utilize. So we always often look for products abroad or from other countries. I'm saying in Zimbabwe, let's come up with brands and products that we have here in Zimbabwe. So you can see a number of different food products coming on the market quite soon. You can expect some personal care products. So why can't we make our own, skincare products here in Zimbabwe? And that is some of what we are working on actively right now. Soaps are another consumable product that we're working on. But in addition to that, I'm also very much working on research relating to human health related products. We should be producing our own health solutions, healthcare solutions, and so natural supplements that basically ensure that we strengthen our body, whether we are facing, immunodeficiency problems, someone has a cold, they need something, what can we give them? Let's look for solutions that are actually made here in Zimbabwe, and we will be coming out with specific products around that as well. So when it comes to self-care, I think a lot of the times, we have minimized what we can do. I look at a lot of the challenges people face when it comes to healthcare issues. whether it's, dental hygiene, the way that we look after our skin, the way that we also maintain our immune system. I think there are a lot of opportunities to take very basic steps, preventative steps, whether it's exercise, drinking water, proper nutrition, looking for solutions that are preventative so that we don't end up being ill. A lot of what we suffer from is actually preventable. And then there are the environmental factors. I'm very concerned about what's happening in the air. In my region, there are a lot of pollutants in the sky because of, certain activities, industrial activities. I'd like to see an environment where, those things are addressed. We are taking preventative measures to make sure that 10 years from now, people aren't suffering from cancer. So there's a lot we can do, and I think as women, we should be having conversations about what we need to do to protect ourselves, to protect our children. When it comes to, and then if you think about the emotional well-being of women go through a lot. Oftentimes women are the ones who are left behind when economics are not working out. Women are the ones that have to figure out a way to keep putting food on the table. We are also the gender that oftentimes is, abused. We are exposed to violence. So I think as women, there are a lot of women who suffer, who we're not actually hearing their voices or their stories. We're not realizing how many women are suffering. Think of the elderly women across Zimbabwe who are living in rural, impoverished communities, and they are raising children without the means to do that, but they're suffering to do what they need to do to keep, their communities and their families going. So there are a lot of emotional challenges that women are facing, and right now I think we need to reflect as we are celebrating International Women's Day and think about, what can we do to really create sort of linkages that support often forgotten women throughout Zimbabwe. I mean, I often see women who are even struggling to get basic things like water. And if you can't rely on clean water in your community, you can't have access to the most basic things that are really indeed human rights. Just think of the suffering that happens behind the scenes.